So this is farewell to my hair. This is farewell to one of the worst years of my life. Let's do it. Yeah, that happened. Now, before we dive into today's video, I'd like to give a quick word from our sponsor. Yes, we actually have a sponsor today, and it's really cool. So if you guys remember, last year, Goalie had reached out to me to review their apple cider vinegar gummies, and I freaking loved them. I started enjoying them daily, but when my mental health took a little bit of a dive earlier this year, as I know many of you can relate, I ended up stopping, as you do when something's good for you and you need it most. You stop it, right? Logic. But recently, Goalie actually reached out to me again and offered to send me all of their latest goodies. Oh my gosh, have some ASMR. But look at this. So we all know the classic Goalie gummies that started it all. These are their apple cider vinegar gummies that contain B9 and B12 to support your immune system and heart health, which is super important to me. But they also sent me, I'm so excited, ashwagandha. We're gonna talk about this in a sec. Don't get me started. Super greens, dreamy sleep, so needed right now, triple action immune, and their super fruits gummies. I mean, like it's Christmas. Now about the ashwagandha. I've used these ones before, but you can't get them in Canada. They're so close to being available in Canada, it's killing me. And if you would like to try out any of these products, I do have a discount code for you guys to use. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. I believe it's Van Mermaid, so hopefully that's what it says here. And I'll also have a direct link that you can use in the description box down below as well. Now let's talk about why I shaved my head. So if you don't know, this year hasn't really been my year. Between experiencing heavy trauma at the beginning of this year, and of course, finally receiving my autism diagnosis after 35 years of believing myself to be the problem in all things, and ending up financially in quite a pickle because I wasn't really prepared for what this year was gonna cost me. And then reuniting with family that I hadn't seen or spoken to in 24 years. Coming out as non-binary, which I haven't actually really said on this channel, so surprise. I mean, if you didn't know, you didn't know. I've basically spent much of this year just curled up in a ball on my couch. So of course I did the only sensible thing you could do when you've hit a point of genuine no return in your life. I shaved my head. Well, I mean, technically Eric shaved my head, but it counts. So living with the aftermath of my autism diagnosis and having very important people in my life be extremely upset and offended that I would share that experience publicly on my YouTube channel. If you would like to watch that video, I'll have it linked. But the truth is, this is my story to share, which is also why I'm sharing this all with you now. And based off of the comments that I've received on my autism-related content, and knowing how many people have let me know that I've actually helped them, I'd say that it was worth it. Very difficult, but worth it. And I know I've talked with you all about this before, mermaids and mental health. I had recently kind of, not polled you guys, but I had asked for your input on why you do the whole mermaid thing, like what got you into it and all of this, and an overwhelming number of you actually said that you got into mermaiding for your mental health, so I figured that this was kind of a fitting topic of discussion. And so for me, the goal of this year was my mental health. That was the whole and only plan for this year. My husband and I decided at the beginning of this year that that was just gonna be the focus. Everything else was gonna take a back seat. Like, we really needed to take the time to recover, because the last few years, as I know you can all relate, have been a shit show, like an absolute shit show. And so we've been starting to set boundaries for ourselves, to start kind of rebuilding the foundation that basically crumbled over the last 2, 3, 4 years, you know, in an effort to help us move forward. The funny thing that they don't tell you about boundaries is that when you set them, like, not everybody in your life is going to like that you did that. And in some instances, they're really gonna hate you for that. So if I can impart just a little bit of wisdom, the one thing that I would say is that if somebody has a hugely negative response to a boundary that you feel needed to be set, this is just reinforcing the fact that you really did need the boundary, and you probably needed it a lot sooner than you realized, but better late than never. So I've also been in therapy for like a little over a year now, and that has been a huge help. And I've been working really hard to kind of solidify routines and pillars that I can kind of work my life around to help keep me on track. And as an autistic individual, that is a hugely important point for me to make, because it's so grounding to know kind of, this is what's coming, this is what I need to do, it just feels very comforting and, like I said, very grounding to have routines that you follow and just structure to your life. And so I've spent so much of this year working really hard on my mental health that, like I said at the very beginning of this video, my physical health really has taken a back seat. And if you know me personally, you know that I have had a very physically difficult year this year. And I have felt recently that I'm kind of ready to take that next step and kind of get things back on track. So it was so fitting that Goalie should reach out to me like that week that I was like, okay, I am ready. I'm ready to sort of, the mental health, I feel like we've got a good enough foundation now that I can start to bring in some more of this physical side of things. So for me, like I mentioned, ashwagandha was something that I was using as kind of a point in my routine where I would clean up my workspace, I would pop my gummies, and I would go take the dog for a walk. And that for me was not only just something amazing to do to help me relax and calm down at the end of my day. I'm somebody who holds on to a great deal of stress doing what I do, but it was also a way of letting my brain know, because I have a real struggle between switching one task to the next is very difficult for me, and having a gummy I know this sounds ridiculous, but please just hear me out. Having the gummies was like telling my brain we have finished for the day and now it's time to spend some time with the dog, and that would lead us into the rest of the evening. But I'll take Alfie for his walk, we'll come back, I make him his dinner, I start getting things rolling for our dinner and sort of the evening plan. All the while I can feel myself just starting to calm down and starting to zen, a little bit of relaxing happening. It's just I really love the ashwagandha. Please get to Canada faster. Taking too long. So alongside the effort to make my routines, and I've been taking care of my mental health, and we're starting to get the physical health back on track, a portion of that also means reducing sensory input for myself. So shaving my head was a huge part of that, but also things like wearing my noise-canceling headphones, looser, more comfortable clothing that I can be in and not be feeling so in. You know, if you know, you know. But my hair has been a huge part of my negative experience in life over the last several years, because if you recall, my hair was actually long enough to basically tuck into my mermaid tail. This may not be something that you relate to unless you fall somewhere on the spectrum. My hair and the experience of touching my hair or brushing my hair was very, very painful. And so I'll tell you that this is long, I think a little bit to here, right? So I still have some hair that's a little bit longer, and then I've got like an undercut all the way around, and she's short. I do need a follow-up trim now because it's been 4 weeks, so I do need a little update there. But it feels amazing. It feels amazing, and not having that like sticking brush through knots has been just fantastic. And I have to say a big thank you to Mermaid Echo, because when I saw them shave their head in their video on TikTok, I was so happy for them, but simultaneously so sad for myself, because at the time I just didn't have the seashells to do it. Like, I just wasn't ready. I knew the time was coming and I knew I had to be patient. I had had 4 of the worst days of my life. I had spent 4 days in bed, barely eating, crying, and being just in an awful state of mind. And Eric had taken the dog out, and just before he was about to go out, he said, "That's it. When I come back, we're getting the clippers and we're shaving it all off." And I was kind of a lump. I was like, okay, whatever. So I didn't really think he was serious, because who's gonna shave their wife's head, right? Well, he comes back, tucks the dog away, goes, gets the clippers, and's like, "That's it, we're doing it." And so away we went. So we're gonna cut off all my hair.
A thing that you want to do in a delicate mental state. A huge lifestyle choice change.
I had it already cut off that much of it earlier this year. So this is farewell to my hair. This is farewell to one of the worst years of my life. Let's do it. Let it rip.
Go this way? No.
Oh my God.
Want to get a chair.
How short is it back there now? This is where we're at so far. Holy shit, it's short though. So there's this, and all of that has come off my head thus far. And I've had a few people who've asked me if I regret it. And honestly, no. Not even for a second. Not even for a whisper of a moment have I regretted this. I haven't experienced sensory overwhelm due to my hair in 4 weeks. I think it's about 4 or 5 weeks. I think we might be on week 5 now. That is insane. My entire life has been nothing but hair pain, okay? And to have none of this contribute to my experience, my negative experience, has been an actual miracle. An actual miracle. Not to mention the joy of seeing myself with short hair for the first time in many years, though I've never had it quite this short, was really good. I feel like when I look at myself in the mirror, I do actually see myself now. I don't see somebody that I'm trying to be, and not to be mean, but for all of you, and even for myself, you know, the version of Courtney Mermaid that I had in my mind was somebody who was not autistic, and I guess that was just kind of a huge part of it, right? This is me accepting myself and loving myself the way that I am, the way that I was always meant to be. And so Eric, not that you're watching this, but thank you for shaving my head.
No, I can't.
He can't do it while I'm filming. Do I not have trust in this guy or what? Truly? I love this man. Like, more than anything.
Yeah, this is scary. This is a little scary, right? In this exact moment.
We're good. Okay,
but we're good. Yeah.
And let's not even touch on the emotional side. The amount of emotions that you actually carry in your hair is unbelievable. I could feel, and Echo said this as well, they said it was like the weight of everybody's expectations and everything just melting off. I can't even really explain how good it felt. And I want to say thank you so much, Goalie, for helping sponsor today's video. I am so grateful for these two. I cannot wait to try the other ones as well. Again, all of the links and everything you're gonna need are gonna be in the description box down below. My code is VanMermaid. And if you enjoyed today's video, or you love mermaiding for your mental health as much as I do, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to join the pod. Lots more mermaid magic is actually on the way, like really for real mermaid magic. I'm so excited for this next chapter. And otherwise, I want to thank you all so much for being a part of my journey, for watching today's video, and I look forward to catching you all again super soon in the next one. All right, happy swimming, my fishes. Bye.